Welcome back to the channel where we reveal the little-known backstories of the most startling controversies on reality TV. Boundaries sometimes know no love, but love knows no bounds. This is the tale of Jenny Slatin and Sumit Singh, two individuals who, out of love, dared to challenge age, culture, and custom. With joy, optimism, and thoughts of a future together, they set out on their voyage. But a storm was gathering underneath the grins. A whirlwind of cultural customs, familial expectations, and the agonizing truth of what it takes to battle for love in a society that rejects it. You heard right. For a long time, Jenny Slatin and her spouse, Sumit Singh, had been caught up in a family feud. Jenny was never really welcomed by Sumit's parents. Sumit was always expected to wed a younger Indian woman, establish a family, have kids, and carry on the family tradition. Jenny Slatin was devastated after hearing this from Sumit's parents on several occasions. Jenny desires to live on her own. Sumit wishes to preserve family customs. Jenny states. Sumit responds, "This is our culture. We must take care of our parents." As a result of this conflict and the ongoing family drama, they made the decision to split up. "I don't want to live under anyone's control." Ultimately, familial pressure caused their 4-year relationship to terminate. Their divorce was officially finalized in court on October 18. Following that, Sumit Singh married an Indian woman in an effort to start a new life and in accordance with his parents' desires. Jenny Slatin suffered from emotional anguish. She departed India and relocated permanently to America. This is more than just a romantic tale. It is a tale of loss, sacrifice, and the agonizing reality that sometimes love is insufficient on its own. Jenny Slatin never thought her life would change so drastically. She was a Californian woman who had previously experienced life's highs and lows. She was divorced, had grown children, and yearned for a friend who would accept her for who she was rather than what society thought she should be. The opposite side of the globe in. Sumit Singh was a young man in his early 30s from India. He was interested, daring, and receptive to the concept of interacting with people from other cultural backgrounds. Jenny and Sumit were casually acquainted when they first connected online. Their relationship developed into late-night chats, laughter, and ultimately love. Jenny found Sumit's kindness captivating. The males she had known were not like him. He paid attention. He restored her sense of vitality and showed concern. Jenny was more than simply a partner to Sumit. She was someone you trusted. Someone who had a unique understanding of him. Eyebrows were raised by the age disparity. However, love was timeless to them. Jenny took a risk when she made the decision to go to India to meet Sumit. She embraced a culture that was both dynamic and demanding, leaving aside her comfortable environment. The cacophony of traffic, the smell of spices, the streets of Delhi. It was too much. But being with Sumit was the only thing on Jenny's mind. It was a beautiful first meeting. Jenny explained that I ran into someone I recognized in a different life. Suddenly, the world appeared to vanish as Sumit clasped her hand. They dreamed about a future together, laughed, and explored. However, love stories are quite straightforward. Sumit was aware of his parents' disapproval from the start. Marriage in Indian culture involves more than just two people. Families, generations, and the continuation of bloodlines are all relevant. Jenny was too old, unfamiliar, and unable to bear them grandchildren. This was unacceptable to Sumit's parents. However, Jenny and Sumit pushed ahead. They thought that anything could be overcome by love. Despite neighbors' rumors and relatives' disapproving glances, they moved in together, shared a house, and made an effort to start a life. Jenny frequently remarked, "I don't care what people think. I care about us." However, there were fissures developing underneath the surface. The weight of tradition was greater than the affection. The conflict between culture and love would also put them to the test in ways they never could have predicted as their adventure progressed. From the start, Jenny. Perhaps there were more than two individuals in Sumit's love. It was about the collision of two universes. Jenny was raised in a society that valued autonomy and individual preference. She had lived freely in America, deciding for herself and forging her own route. Love was easy for her. It should be sufficient for two people to care for one another. However, love was never merely a matter of two hearts in India. It had to do with families, customs, and the unseen burden of generations. Sumit's parents had brought him up to believed marriage was a sacred obligation to carry on the family line in addition to being a union of two people. Their ideal daughter-in-law would be young, Indian, and able to bear them grandkids. With her advanced age and foreign upbringing, Jenny was the complete reverse of what they had imagined. There was a noticeable tension when Jenny first met Sumit's parents. His mother's quiet spoke louder than words as she looked at Jenny from head to toe. His father asked pointed, almost accusing questions. "How come you would pick someone so much older? Can you have a future with her?" Jenny felt the pain of rejection on the inside, despite her best efforts to smile and be respectful. Sumit found the situation intolerable. He loved his parents as much as he loved Jenny. Filial obligation is mandatory in Indian culture. It is demanded, anticipated, and respected. He found himself torn between the family that had reared him and the lady he loved. Jenny was frequently frustrated. "I'm not interested in." One evening, her voice shaking, she told Sumit that she didn't want to live under anyone's supervision. "I came here to find love, not to face constant criticism." Torn and worn out, Sumit said quietly. "Jenny, this is our culture. We have to look after our parents. I can't leave them alone." Age and nationality were not the only factors in the conflict. Identity was at issue. Jenny desired a life based on love, freedom, and respect. Sumit desired peace, custom, and his family's favor. Their house turned into a battleground of hushed disagreements, quiet sobs, and never-ending concessions. Relatives murmured, neighbors gossiped, and the strain increased. Every room Jenny walked into made her feel alienated. Soon, every time he stood up for her, it felt like he was betraying her. Their burden was the love that had protected them in the past. Nevertheless, they persisted in spite of the discomfort. Jenny thought she would finally be accepted by the family if she shone her loyalty. Sumit thought he could keep everyone happy if he carefully balanced the two realities. Joyful. However, both were secretly aware that the storm was just getting started and that the most difficult fights were still to come. Jenny Slatton had always thought that love could transcend all boundaries, including age, location, and culture. However, as the days in India stretched into months, she came to understand that gaining acceptance was not a simple task. She seemed to be reminded at every turn that she was an alien in a society that prized tradition over uniqueness. Jenny made an effort to adjust to their tiny house. She acquired the skill of cooking Indian food, learned Hindi words and, as a sign of respect, wore traditional kurtas. She wanted Sumit's family to view her as a woman who genuinely loved their kid rather than as a foreigner. But despite her best efforts, the murmurs persisted. Sumit's parents stayed aloof, neighbors gossiped, and relatives cast suspicious glances at her. In particular, Sumit's mother was unrelenting. She would bring up Jenny's advanced age, her infertility, and her foreign heritage. "You are unable to provide us with." One evening, she said clearly what we need. Jenny said gently, fighting back tears. "I am able to adore him. Isn't that sufficient?" However, love was never sufficient in that home. Jenny struggled on the inside as well as the outside. She started to doubt herself. Was her desire for Sumit to pick her above his family self-serving? Was she mistaken to think that centuries of tradition could be overcome by love? She used to weep quietly at night, worried that Sumit was suffering because of her presence. Despite being rejected, Jenny persisted and went to family events despite feeling uncomfortable. Despite the discomfort, she grinned, hoping that one day her genuineness would penetrate the barriers of criticism. She thought the family would ultimately see her heart if she was patient. However, the strain was oppressive. Sumit struggled to respect his parents and stand up for Jenny. In their house, arguments broke out. Why can't they just accept me? Jenny would beg, and Sumit, worn out, would murmur, I'm trying, Jenny. But this is bigger than us. Jenny encountered greater opposition the harder she tried to be accepted. Every attempt she made seemed to accentuate the disparities. She was caught in a never-ending loop of proving herself to those who had already made up their minds, despite her desire for freedom. Her conflict turned into a metaphor for the conflict between tradition and love, originality and conformity. Jenny's spirit was unwavering despite her sad heart. She frequently said to herself, I didn't come this far to give up now, but she knew deep down that the cracks were growing, that acceptance seemed like a far-off dream, and that the love that had felt unstoppable was gradually being put to the test by forces outside her control. For Sumit Singh, life had turned into an emotional battleground, with his parents, who had raised him, made sacrifices for him, and now insisted that he follow tradition, on one side, and Jenny, the woman he loved with all his heart, on the other. Sumit had been raised in a family-centered home, where family was valued above all else. In Indian culture, parents are not merely guardians, they are pillars of life, and children are expected to care for them until the day they die. To disrespect them was viewed as betrayal and a disgrace. However, when Sumit looked into Jenny's eyes, he saw a future full of love, laughter, and freedom. He wanted both worlds, but it was obvious that he could not have them. At the same time, Jenny would frequently remind him of the sacrifices she had made. I left my country, my family, my comfort. All for you, she would say in an emotionally charged voice. Soon, he would realize that she was correct, but his mother's words, she cannot give us grandchildren, she cannot carry our legacy, would reverberate in his mind, paralyzing him between duty and love. At night, Sumit would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, his mind racing, and he imagined a life with Jenny. He then pictured a life without her, one in which his parents were pleased with him once more for marrying a younger Indian woman. These visions tore at his soul, and he began to argue a lot. Jenny wanted explanations, but Sumit found it difficult to provide them. Why can't you pick me? Because selecting you means losing them and choosing them means losing you. It was a reality that neither could avoid, friends counseled her as she inquired one evening with tears in her eyes. He was caught in a vicious cycle where every choice felt like a betrayal. His parents reminded him of his duty every day, while Jenny reminded him of his love. His torn heart became the silent villain of their relationship. He wanted to protect Jenny, but he also wanted to protect his parents. He wanted freedom, but he also wanted tradition, and as the days went by, the cracks in their love grew wider. Deep down, Sumit knew that his mother, harsh and unyielding, frequently reminded him of his responsibility. You are our only son. You must give us grandchildren. You must continue. The walls of Sumit's family home echoed with tension, and every visit Jenny made was met with cold stars, whispered judgments, and outright disapproval. For Sumit's parents, Jenny's presence was not just unwanted, it was a direct challenge to everything they believed in. The family line, her words were like arrows piercing the fragile peace Jenny and Sumit attempted to maintain. His father, though quieter, carried the same weight of expectation. He would sit quietly, his disapproving gaze speaking louder than any words. Jenny felt the pressure every day. She tried to win them over by being kind, preparing meals, being respectful, and taking part in family customs, but no matter what she did, it was never enough. The family's rejection was not based on her behaviors. It stemmed from her identity itself. She was older, foreign, and unable to provide them with the grandchildren they desired. The constant pressure started to permeate Jenny and Sumit's relationship, causing arguments to occur more frequently and Jenny to cry, "Why do they hate me so much? Why are they unable to recognize my love for you?" Torn and worn out, Sumit would respond, "Jenny, it's not about love. Tradition is the key. They will always hold on to it." Demands from the parents became more vocal. They demanded that Sumit get married to a younger Indian woman who will blend in with their culture. They served as a reminder of his responsibilities to his family, the community, and future generations. Jenny was not only inappropriate in their eyes, but also a danger to their heritage. Although Sumi made an effort to protect Jenny from the worst of it, the pressure persisted. Late at night, his parents would call and beg, demand, and even threaten to disown him if he persisted in seeing Jenny. There was a huge emotional cost. Though he loved Jenny, the idea was too much for him to handle. Of his parents passing away. Meanwhile, Jenny felt her soul crumble. To be with Sumit, she had left her family, her home, and her nation. Here, however, she was regarded as an outsider. To construct, she had given up everything. The weight of the continual rejection was overwhelming. Sumit's parents' constant pressure went beyond simple displeasure. It was a force that gradually weakened Jenny and Sumit's relationship. Additionally, the fissures grew wider and closer as the days went by. To a choice neither desired to make. Jenny Slatin was a warrior at heart. She had embraced a culture that was different from her own, crossed oceans, and left behind her comfortable existence in America. For the man she loved, of course. However, even the most resilient hearts have their limits. And Jenny's was starting to crumble under the load of rejection, criticism, and ongoing stress. Every day seemed like a test that she would never be able to pass. Despite her best efforts to show her affection, Sumit's parents always reminded her of what she was unable to provide. Children, young people, and a traditional Indian household. Their comments kept repeating in her head, gradually undermining her self-assurance. Jenny started to feel invisible, as if her efforts were insignificant. The stress at home became intolerable. Conflicts with Sumit increased in frequency. Jenny would beg him to firmly support her, but his reluctance would just make her suffering worse. One night, she sobbed, her voice shaking, "I don't want to live under anyone's control. I didn't come here to be treated like an idiot, I came here for love." Sumit attempted to reassure her, but his comments frequently sounded insincere. He was conflicted, worn out, and unable to provide her with the assurance she required. Jenny started to feel alone, as if she were fighting a struggle by herself. Silent tears filled the nights, fake smiles dominated the mornings, and the weight of maintaining a false front weighed heavily on the days. One family get-together was the tipping moment for her. Jenny heard rumors about her age, her incapacity to procreate, and her inappropriate presence when surrounded by family members. Jenny's heart broke when a relative asked Sumit directly, "Why are you wasting your life with her?" She excused herself, went outside, and started crying. She understood for the first time that she would never be accepted, no matter how hard she tried. Jenny confronted Sumit that evening. Her voice was painful and unfiltered. "I am no longer able to do this. I have to stop proving myself to people who will never accept me for who I am. I'm losing myself, yet I still love you." Sumit remained motionless, his eyes full with remorse. He wanted to stand up for her, but he was also being crushed by his parents' expectations. The family wasn't the only thing that broke Jenny. She was trying to survive. She had sacrificed everything, but in exchange, she had lost her feeling of belonging, her dignity, and her calm. The realization was distressing for Jenny. Love was insufficient on its own. And the way to separation became more obvious than ever as the fissures grew. The tale of love that once felt. The limit of unstoppable had now been achieved. For years, Jenny and Sumit had battled under intense pressure, cultural expectations, and family rejection. However, as the days grew longer, they both came to the realization that their love was insufficient to stop the storm. Jenny was scarred by her breaking point. She was worn out, emotionally spent, and in dire need of tranquility. She had given everything, her emotions, her time, and her sacrifices. But all she received in return was rejection. One night, seated across, she said the words that had been bothering her since Sumit said them in their tiny living room. "I can't continue to live this way. I'm losing myself, yet I still love you." Sumit's heart fell. He'd always thought they'd figure something out. Perhaps in some way, love would unite freedom and tradition. However, he felt in his heart that Jenny was correct. The never-ending arguments, the silent tears, and the ongoing struggles with his parents had taken their toll. He returned the whisper, "Jenny, I don't want to lose you, but I can't leave my folks either." There was a deafening quiet. They both understood what it meant. The way forward was no longer shared because their love had reached a turning point. The discussions became more serious in the days that followed. Jenny talked about going back to America and starting again away from the sorrow and criticism. Despite his grief, Sumit acknowledged that his parents' demands were uncompromising. He acknowledged that he was unable to live in defiance of them any longer. The choice. The decision to split up was taken out of sadness rather than rage. They embraced, sobbed together, and recalled their happy times together. Sumit said, "You gave me love I never thought I'd find, but I must honor my family." Jenny informed him, "You will always be a part of me, but I need to be free." Their 4-year romance ended in court on October 18th. The aspirations they had once created together vanished into oblivion as the divorce papers were signed. Jenny left knowing that she was leaving behind not only a marriage but a period of her life. She sobbed in the courtroom. When Sumit realized that love had eluded him, he stood in silence, his heart aching. The hardest decision they had ever made was to split up. However, it was the only option available at the time. Despite their genuine love, tradition had turned out to be more significant. And two destinies started to play out as they parted ways. One in India and one in the United States. Jenny's birthday was October 18th. Slatin would never forget it. There was a lot of silence in the courtroom, and everyone was waiting for Jenny and Sumit. This was more than just a court case. It was the last chapter of a romance that had previously transcended national boundaries, cultural norms, and expectations. Jenny sat silently, gripping the divorce papers with shaky hands. She turned to face Sumit, the guy she had previously thought would be her lifelong partner. His expression was gloomy, and his eyes were downcast. Words were not necessary for them. Their mutual silence spoke volumes. The judge went over the case, their marriage's specifics, and their reasons for splitting up. As Jenny listened, her heart ached. Each syllable seemed to serve as a reminder of the struggles they had endured, the disputes between their families, the cultural clashes, and the never-ending arguments. Their entire voyage seemed to have been reduced to a few chilly legal declarations. As the court inquired about their agreement to the divorce, Jenny's voice broke and she muttered, "Yes." Shortly after, his tone full of remorse. The truth struck them both at that very instant. Their once powerful love has been vanquished by uncontrollable forces. As the court finalized the divorce by stamping the papers, Jenny shed quiet sobs. She recalled the promises they had made, the dreams they had shared, and the evenings spent laughing. An emotional journey came to a legal end when everything vanished into income paper. Despite appearing composed, Sumit felt his heart break. Although he had a great love for Jenny, the pressure of his parents' expectations had demonstrated to be more powerful. It felt as though a part of him vanished forever as he saw her leave the courtroom. The courtroom represented more to Jenny than just the dissolution of a marriage. A dream came to an end. She had thought that tradition could be overcome by love, but the truth was more brutal. Outside, the world seemed strange, chilly, and deserted. She was aware that she could not remain in India any longer. Her spirit had been shattered by the rejection, the suffering, and the finality of the divorce. The pivotal moment occurred on that day. Jenny would go back to the United States, resolved to start over on her own, even if it meant rebuilding her life. Due to duty, Sumit would stay in India and get ready to wed the woman his parents had selected. The verdict had been delivered in the courtroom, but the real punishment was heartbreaking. 2 hearts were split apart, and 2 lives were irrevocably altered. Life swiftly started writing the next chapter when the courtroom closed the last one. For Jenny Slatin, the divorce was not only the end of a marriage. Her goal of establishing a life in India came to an end. 4. It was the start of a new journey for Sumit Singh, one that was influenced more by familial responsibilities than by personal preferences. Jenny silently packed her things. Every object serves as a reminder of the affection she had long battled to preserve. The house where she and Sumit had lived now felt like a memory cage. Dreams that had vanished, promises that had failed, and laughter that had faded. She booked her travel back to America with a heavy heart. Jenny muttered to herself as she boarded the aircraft. Despite my best efforts, it was insufficient. Sumit's parents didn't waste any time returning to India. The place that had previously felt like a second home now felt like a war. She could no longer bear it. They made arrangements for him to wed a younger Indian woman who matched their ideal daughter-in-law. The wedding was customary, with blessings, ceremonies, and family consent. Although it appeared to be a celebration of family honor, Sumit felt a sense of bittersweetness. He bowed before his elders, smiled for the cameras, and carried out the customs. However, in the back of mind, the ghost of Jenny's love was with him. In the meantime, Jenny made an effort to start over in America. She went back to her old acquaintances, her old streets, and the security of self-reliance. But the wounds from her trip were still there. Frequently, she would sit by herself and relive the times she had spent with Sumit, the tears, the laughing, the whispered vows. She was free from his family's criticism, but she still had to deal with the memories of their love. His parents were at peace with Sumit's new marriage, but he wasn't happy. He completed their wishes, respected customs, and continued the family's legacy. But when he was alone, he thought about Jenny, the woman who had loved him despite boundaries, age, and expectations. There had been two lies. Jenny went to America to get better. Sumit stayed in India, obligated by duty, and lived a life that she had chosen for him rather than for herself because she was determined to regain her independence and dignity. Even though their careers had diverged, their story was still deeply ingrained in their hearts. The romance that had previously defied expectations had at last given in to custom. And the world was left wondering as Jenny and Sumit went down different roads. Was this really fate, or was it just the price of love in an expectation-driven world? Their marriage had ended with the divorce, but the emotional fallout persisted for a long time. Sumit Singh and Jenny Slatin were no longer married. However, the love they had once shared and the struggles they had faced left a lasting effect on their lives. Jenny found her return to America to be both freeing and devastating. She returned to the streets she knew so well, surrounded by her family's love and the ease of independence. However, the wounds from her trip to India followed her. Memories of Sumit, his warmth, his laughter, and the vows they had once made were frequently a part of the nights. Jenny made an effort to start over by concentrating on her personal happiness, but the weight of cultural struggle and the hurt of rejection remained ingrained in her heart. She found freedom and comfort in this. No longer subject to tradition or judgment from family, Jenny was proud of her independence. She started to heal, rekindled her hobbies, and made contact with old friends. However, she harbored a silent melancholy. The realization that love, no matter how powerful, was insufficient to break through cultural and familial obstacles. Suma's life changed in India. His parents felt at last that their son had done his job, and his new marriage offered them peace. Once more, there were smiles, blessings, and approbation at family get-togethers. At first glance, Sumit had reinstated honor and harmony. However, he carried a silent burden within himself. Sumit thought about Jenny a lot. He recalled her selflessness, her fortitude, and the unconditional love she had shown him. He could not take away the memories of their time together, even though he had chosen duty. Although his new marriage was secure, Jenny's passion and disobedience were absent. At the expense of his emotions, he had upheld tradition. The fallout from their split involved more than just two people. It was about two choices that determined their futures. Jenny reclaimed her life in America by choosing independence. In India, Sumi made the decision to fulfill his obligations to his family. Both routes were painful. Both were healing. They both bore the burden of what could have been. Their tale served as a reminder of the difficult balancing act between tradition and love. It demonstrated to the globe that cultural expectations might occasionally be more powerful, regardless of the depth of love. Despite their intense love, Jenny and Sumit ultimately chose different paths. One towards liberty, the other towards obligation. Despite the differences in their lives, their tale will never be forgotten. A tribute to the strength of love, the suffering of selflessness, and the truth that not every love tale has a happy ending. As a result, Jenny Slatin brought the wounds from a love that was unable to withstand the pressures of tradition back to America. Bound by obligation, Sumit Singh continued to live the life his parents had selected for him in India. Once linked, two spirits are now on different paths. However, their tale raises issues that persist long after the conclusion. Chapter. Was the romance between Jenny and Suma really over? Or simply another interlude in a story that fate might eventually return to? Should tradition always take precedence over love, or should love come first? Was it the appropriate decision for Sumit to preserve his family's heritage? Or did he give up the one person who really got him? And if you were in Jenny's position, would you have walked away permanently or stayed and fought? The solutions are not straightforward. And maybe that's the idea. Jenny and Sumit's story serves as a reminder that love, culture, and family are unifying and destructive forces. There is more to their story than grief. It concerns the decisions we make when duty and love collide. What do you think, then? Was this a cultural tragedy or a lesson in selflessness? Additional updates. 90-Day Fiancé. Fans are shocked by Jenny Slatin's dramatic change. Appears younger in a unique picture, and a GoFundMe couple removes their fundraising campaign after receiving a lot of negative feedback. Sumit makes friend calls. His cafe company was doomed. He is accused by Jenny of propagating negativity. I have no faith in him. Why is Sumit misting his new cafe with cow urine? The cause was made clear. I'll go over everything. Jenny Slatin and Sumit Singh, a famous couple, are having a great time on Jenny's special day. Her supporters are even more astonished by the abrupt shift in her behavior. The Native Americans' fans are in awe of her gorgeous new look. Once more, the voyage of Jenny and Sumit has been chronicled on the other side. Viewers of the current broadcast caught up on concerning signs about the former's health. After moving in with Sunnet's parents, they believed she needed to start exercising and put her health first. Adjusting to her new life has been a challenge for the reality TV star. In order to combat their financial issues, Jenny and Sumit also launched a coffee company together. The former seems to have put her health first lately. And how does she look now? Who has she spoken these things? Jenny Slatin is regularly active on social media. Gives Sumit an update on her beautiful life. She has been welcoming her new life in India since getting married. The 90-Day Fiancé star has been getting used to her new life and becoming closer to her in-laws over time. Jenny is getting along well with everyone and has blended in with Indian society. She regularly posts updates on her perfect life to brag about it. However, the TLC star's new hairstyle surprised fans. In an Instagram photo, Jenny had straight black hair instead of her usual blonde. Selfie. Her loyal fan following was thrilled to see the significant change. They all agreed that it looked great on her face. Some people wondered if it was real or just a filter. Jenny Slatin appears to have been working hard lately to get fitter and healthier. Observers have been caught off guard by her transformation. Fans of 90-Day Fiancé were astounded by her stunning attractiveness. Recently, Sumit updated his followers about Jenny's incredible change. He shared a photo of his wife in a joyful expression while holding a coffee. The reality TV actress looked lovely as she posed for the picture. Slatin showed off her trim body and glowing youth. Sumit sent a sincere birthday greeting to the woman who makes his life so much more enjoyable. He gushed about his wife, claiming that she was the best thing that had ever happened to her and that she made his life so much more enjoyable. However, the striking change in Jenny's appearance required by accident. She also seemed very young in the most recent photos. The reality TV star had loose brown hair. Many fans wished Jenny a happy birthday. However, they were astonished to see how much she had improved in appearance. One admirer scolded Jenny, "Just remember, you're not aging, you're improving." Another user was delighted that Sumit and Jenny's relationship was still going strong. Many of 90 Day Fiancé's viewers expressed similar admiration for Jenny's new appearance. The fact that she is choosing healthy options makes everyone pleased. What are your thoughts on this? Tell us the story in a comment below. Following intense criticism, the GoFundMe pair of this 90 Day Fiancé removes their fundraising post. The fame of Brandon and Mary, the 90 Day finance couple, cannot be denied. They've made a name for themselves with their numerous frauds and fake fundraising events. The pair is also accused of financial abuse. Although the fans embarrassingly revealed their lies, it appears that they haven't learned their lesson. In order to gather money, they also set up another GoFundMe page, but they took it down after getting a lot of unfavorable comments. Their past of deceiving people infuriated fans so much that they criticized their piece with terrible remarks. They were allegedly planning a second child as a PR gimmick, according to former admirers. She has been accused by fans of inventing Lola's condition. Once more. Continue reading to learn what transpired. Fans repeatedly call out Brandon and Mary for misusing their fandom. Consequently, the 90 Day financial duo is well known for their track record of fan fraud. Thus, it makes sense that the news of their second child would frighten their army of doubters. But as expected, fans were correct. The pair pleaded with their fans for attention in multiple messages that a Reddit user posted. She posted a photo of him in the kitchen on social media. She remarked, "What a wonderful spouse she had." However, the caption seemed really strange. The 90 Day dismissed star left the captions with embedded Google search results despite her best efforts. Regarding engagement hashtags, Mary wrote, "Best thus band ever." However, she failed to take out the directions she gave the AI to choose the most interesting emoji and hashtags for the caption. Consequently, the fans stopped them once more. The creators of 90 Day Fiancé, Mary and Brandon, have a history of stealing from and misleading their followers. The criminal pair has covered every scam tactic in 101, including pregnancy planning and phony medical diagnoses. Over the years, the group's acts and behavior have drawn some criticism from the fan base, but it appears that they haven't learned their lesson. Recently, a GoFundMe effort was launched to support their grandmother, Lola. They appealed for generosity and help from the public during their time of need. "We respectfully ask for some help for our Lola," the post started. They informed their followers that they were running out on money due to the mounting medical expenditures, saying, "The grandma is obviously sick and requires oxygen. The hospital won't be allowed to continue her medication until the remainder is paid. No amount of help, no matter how big or small, would be greatly appreciated," the caption went on to say. At the conclusion of the statement, the couple thanked everyone for their compassion, love, and prayers. However, this was greeted by the unanticipated unfavorable response. The post was hammered by their subsequent hostile, derogatory, and negative comments. The supporters acted in this manner due to their history of scamming. The couple promptly took down the fundraiser ad as a result. They also issued a statement in a different post. "We have decided to stop the fundraising effort." It said that the volume of offensive and critical comments had escalated to an intolerable degree. They also expressed gratitude to those who ultimately made a contribution. Being married today or Brandon is undoubtedly difficult. Jenny accuses Sumit's acquaintance of promoting negativity and declares his cafe business doomed, clears throat. "I have no faith in him." Sumit Singh and Jenny Slatin had just opened a 90 Day finance cafe when an unexpected guest arrived. The two are committed to improving their financial status and making their cafe a success, and they will work very hard to achieve this goal. Indian families were immensely supportive of the reality TV stars. However, it appears that Sumit's companion Rohit went to incite enmity, the cafe. He hurled some disturbing truth bombs at him in an attempt to betray their confidence. Rohit and Jenny are no longer as close as they once were. His continual taunting and ridiculing of her was never liked by the former. But when he saw the calf most recently, she didn't feel any good energy from him. What did he do? Why is he making Jenny so angry? For the first time, Sumit and Jenny, the stars of 90 Day Fiancé, are starting a cafe. They are only amateurs trying to start a business from the ground up. The TLC stars struggled to find the ideal location for their business. Sumit also visited a friend's warehouse to restock on used cafe equipment. Jenny was shocked at the state of the place and called it nasty. Sumit's friend Roy teased her for being so repulsed by everything. Singh just wanted to stock up on a few items that would be ideal for his business. Roy wanted to know the cook at the cafe. Uncontrollably laughing, he looking at Jenny and remembering the spaghetti she had prepared for him before. However, Jenny did not like Rohit's behavior. She wondered why it had to close and questioned his business sense. Running their company still presents difficulties for Jenny Slatin and Sumit Singh. They are doing everything they can to change the situation. 90 Day Fiancé recently released a sneak peek at the upcoming episode. It shows the first time Roy, Sumit's friend, visited the cafe. Getting to know someone for the first time made the former happy. But when his companion shared some disturbing facts with him, his face became anxious. Who does that? Your parents are cooking. You don't have chefs. Roy replied. He casually predicted that his lack of professionalism in administering the TLC star's business would soon lead to its closure. Jenny, however, knew the real motivations of Sumit's acquaintance. I am aware that he is here to pass judgment and be critical. She confessed that her total lack of trust in him is obvious. After blogger Umbrella tweeted the preview on Instagram, a number of followers concurred with Jenny. In agreement with Jenny, one fan said, his friend is a hater. Another person said they wanted her and Sumit's calf to be successful. The supporters are baffled as to why the latter's partner consistently undermines him. He must have plotted the couple's demise as a business and been jealous of them in their imaginations. Trying to build a profitable cafe from the ground up. Jenny and Sumit are total beginners. The fact that the family is helping out makes everyone pleased. They believe that rather than pronouncing judgment, their 90 Day Fiancé acquaintance ought to have offered some support. What are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in a comment. Why is Sumit misting his young calf with cow urine? The cause was made clear. Ribbon-cutting ceremonies are no longer necessary because of the recent high standards set by 90 Day Fire star Sumit Singh. Regarding his recently introduced product in India, he decided to add cow everywhere. You read that correctly, yes. Jenny was on the verge of fainting after witnessing everything happen in front of her. Others questioned Sumit's civic consciousness, but he insists that his acts serve a higher good. After hearing him disclose the real reason, fans are still struggling to collect themselves. Be honest with me. Tell me what's happening. To what extent did he reveal? You should continue reading to learn more about this issue because it's quite intense. 90 Day Fiancé viewer saw Sumit Singh's valiant attempts to run his company despite seemingly insurmountable challenges. His calf doesn't seem to have access to adequate purified water. When things got so terrible, his mother Sana even used water from the bathroom tap to cook. Sumit was clearly unhappy when, just before the grand opening, he had to throw out all the food. Jenny, on the other hand, has determined that she can no longer put up with her in-laws. She had already expressed her desire to vacate Sana's home, and if Sumit declined to accompany her, she wouldn't think twice about leaving alone. Observers started to wonder if Sumit would ever be able to turn his business around because he was facing so many obstacles. Sumit Singh, the star of 90 Day Fiancé, invited clergy to pre-wedding rituals at his cafe. Sumit then revealed that the water being dispersed by the second group had likewise been tainted with cow. When Jenny first heard this, she was shocked and wondered if she had understood it correctly. The reality that she also mentioned that Americans would never consider bringing cow urine close to a kitchen. But his will was evidently unflinching. In his culture, cow are extremely revered and pure. He told the cameras. The well-known individual went into detail about the cow's hallowed position and connection to the Hindu pantheon. A cow delivers milk, much like a mother does. It is therefore regarded as a maternal figure in Singh's culture, as Sumit said. The distinction between Indian and American customs regarding the use of kaup and holy water was emphasized by Sumit as well. However, it appeared from his expression that Jenny wasn't convinced by the idea. In the comments area, a few viewers even acknowledged that they were not impressed by the explanation. While watching this, I learned a lot. Another individual added, "How is Paholi? Are you in agreement? Please inform us in the space provided. No more today. Also, I will never dine at or visit specific places. No offense. How do you feel about today's gossip?" To receive more updates like these, please let us know in the comments and subscribe to our channel.